If you have a desire to create a better life, but you find yourself constantly going back to the same stories, the same beliefs, the same old patterns, the same addictions, then you are in the right place. This week on Unshakable Habits, I have a special guest, the founder and creator of the Hero Project, Mr. Adam Jablin. And Adam's going to talk to us about his own story of recovery and share how fear is really the driving force behind this struggle. And that's coming up next right here on Unshakable Habits. The right habits can help you have it all. More time, better health, improved relationships, and less stress. But most people lack the tools to stick with those habits long enough to see results. That is about to change. Welcome to Unshakable Habits with your host, Stephen Box. It's time to take your habits from unsustainable to unshakable. Welcome back. This is episode number 73 of Unshakable Habits. I am your host, Stephen Box. And this week, we're going to be talking about fear. Whether it is the fear of change, the fear of failure, or even the fear of success. And more specifically, we're going to talk about how that fear often manifests itself as us wanting to stay in our comfort zone of the past. So we keep telling ourselves the same stories and the same beliefs and following the same patterns and falling into the same addictions. This week, I have a special guest with me, Mr. Adam Jablin, who is a renowned recovery and performance coach, best-selling author, and a keynote speaker. He's been featured on ESPN, Fox, CNBC, TNT, BET, CNN, ABC, NBC, and CBS. His mission and purpose is to free people from addictions, faulty dependencies, fears, doubt, and anxiety. Adam ignites the hero within so you can be fully alive. He's the founder and creator of the Hero Project, a high-level coaching program that has helped thousands of people. The work focuses on empowering individuals to take control of their lives, mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. So you guys can see why I thought Adam would be a great guest, because we have a lot of alignment there. Adam's own personal journey of triumph over alcoholism and addiction awakened his abilities to help other people just rediscover their true selves and experience life to the fullest. So I'm very excited to introduce you guys to Adam today. But before I do that, I just wanted to quickly share with you a little personal insight here about this. Some of you may have heard the story before. A lot of you may not have. But the short version of the story is, growing up, I was bullied. And it created a situation for me where I really took on this mentality of, I need to be better than other people. I need to show people that they're wrong about me. I need to be able to defend myself. And the best way to defend myself was this mindset and philosophy of the best defense is a good offense, right? And from that standpoint, I had a very aggressive personality. We'll just put it that way, because that's the nice way to say it right now. I was a jerk is the other way to say it, right? But I was very successful in what I did. I was very good at sales. And there came a point in my career where I was being held back because of my personality. I wasn't getting opportunities to advance in leadership and be able to earn more income and do bigger things because of my personality. It wasn't a good mesh for leadership. And I knew that it was a problem. I knew I needed to make changes, but my identity was so ingrained at that point where I felt like, hey, if I stop being this way, what happens, right? Those ghosts of being bullied started to come back to haunt me a little bit. And I was afraid to change and become this less aggressive version of me. Now, that doesn't mean I became someone who just people could walk over or whatever. I was still very assertive. I still was not afraid to stand up for myself, but I had to learn to do it in a much smarter way. And I had to learn to become a leader. And thankfully I did, because that's why I ultimately became a coach, was those skills I developed during that transition. And had I not gone through that experience, I wouldn't be the coach that I am today. But at that moment, at that time, it was a super scary transition for me. And so as Adam and I were chatting in our interview, I really just felt such a connection to what he was talking about when he started talking about these different levels of fear, because I thought about it as, man, that's me. I had that, right? I didn't at the moment maybe realize it was fear. I didn't say, oh, I'm afraid to change. But looking back and thinking about the concerns that I had, the worries that I had, the stories, the beliefs, all that stuff I kept telling myself, yeah, it was definitely some fear there, even though I didn't recognize that on the surface level. Below the surface, it was definitely there. With that, guys, allow me to introduce you to our guest, not just today, but all week long, Mr. Adam Jablin.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a privilege.
So for people who maybe are not familiar with you already, could you just take a few minutes to explain to us a little bit about your story, your background, and what makes you the expert on overcoming fear?
Yeah, my background really, I would say, starts with my recovery and my sobriety. And I'll be clean and sober 18 years coming in July.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And within that process of recovery and discovery, all these gifts and abilities that I didn't even know I had naturally came out. But also in recovery, you really have to do a deep soul dive into who you are, how you're made up, how you think, how you act, how you behave, what your beliefs are. And when I started really just attracting all these people to help, one moment at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 month at a time, 1 year at a time, this became so natural to me. It just became so natural to me. And what I really found out is we're all addicted to something. We're all addicted to something. My story itself has a lot of transition, transformation, triumphs, tragedies. But one of the things I really found is that people have a hero within them. They have a hero within, and they just have to finally let go of the old stories, the old beliefs, the old patterns, the old addictions, and go on that journey.
Yeah.
And I would say what made me an expert was doing it over and over and over again with A-list celebrities, professional athletes, mom and pops, kid, whatever it is, and each of them getting the result that they were seeking.
Yeah.
The expertise was built slowly but surely, one step at a time.
Yeah, I love that. And there's some reinforcement in what you were just talking about there, because I've interviewed a lot of different people, and I've heard over and over again about those insecurities, about those doubts from people that you would expect would not have them, right? People who are very intelligent, people have like PhDs, they still have insecurities. I've had someone on my show who was a supermodel, and she told me that models are some of the most insecure people in the world. And we would think the opposite, because we think, oh, they're so beautiful, they must have all this confidence, and they're super insecure. I love the fact that you pointed out that even A-list celebrities and athletes and everybody else, we all have addictions, we all have these fears, we all have these self-doubts, right?
We're all human. We're all human, and the fear centers in our mind. That's where it centers. It can feel like it's in the body. It can feel like it's in the nervous system, and I get that.
Yeah.
But you feel what you're thinking.
Yeah.
All of us, from childhood to puberty to high school, college, we went through these stories. We went through these trials. We went through these growing phases that really made us perceive the world in a different way. And it's a disease of perception.
Yeah. What was that moment for you? Like, where did you start to realize that maybe you had some of these fears that were holding you back, or that you had these addictions that you were dealing with? What was that kind of wake up moment for you to say, wait, there's something here that I can actually change?
I would have to say it was day 9 in rehab. I went to rehab, and my thought process was, I am going to be the most dedicated, disciplined, determined, rehab patient they've ever seen. And within 3 or 4 days, they'll see there's nothing wrong with this guy. He's a monster. He's an animal. Must be family, must be the business, must be the new baby. And everything they were teaching me fit and backfired on me and was cracking me in the center. And it was true ego depletion. And what happened was I slowly stopped becoming the old Adam and the I and the me, and I started becoming a part of a we.
Yeah.
And I was broken, man. I was broken. Like, there was a poster on the wall, and I'll never forget it, that said, make the appropriate face with the appropriate emotion. I always had one face, which was a smile, a wink, don't worry about me, so I could do whatever the hell I wanted. I was a phony. I was full of it.
Yeah.
So every day I learned something new, something about spirituality, something about mindset, something about what real mental fitness is, what physical fitness really is, but truly also a connection to something greater. And as I let that old Adam go, he finally died.
Yeah.
Which meant a new Adam was reborn.
Yeah. I'm curious, was there a point where you blamed other people or felt like it wasn't your fault?
That's a great way of wording it. Did I think it was not my fault? Did I think it was other people? In a way, I don't think my languaging was quite like that. I think it was more like, can't they see everything I'm doing? Can't they see all my effort? Can't they see how much I love them? Can't they see how much I try? If everybody would behave this way, the world would get along great.
Yeah.
So it was really the actor wanting to be the producer and the director and control all the parts of the play.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I was in such denial that I didn't know that I had a part or a responsibility in it. But I felt like I wasn't seen, and I felt like I wasn't acknowledged, and I felt like I wasn't validated.
Yeah.
So it was through a lot of work with a lot of different people, specifically my mentor. What I realized was I was not a people pleaser.
Yeah.
A people pleaser is, you say you like the Yankees, I say I like the Yankees. Because I just want approval. I had a Superman complex. I was a rescuer.
Yeah.
I tried to be there for every single person every time, not trying to please them, but trying to help them.
Yeah.
And when that wasn't acknowledged, I got thirsty.
Yeah.
I popped pills like they were Tic Tacs.
So was that a matter of, one of my mentors always uses this saying of, every behavior is an attempt to solve a problem. And we don't always use the best solution to the problem, right? It's a solution nonetheless. So it sounds like that's where you weren't saying that other people were making you a certain way. You were doing what you felt like you needed to do. You were playing that role that a lot of men are told to play, being the provider and the protector. And you were playing that role, but it felt like you weren't getting the recognition for it. So that seems to drove the behavior of, maybe I just need to do everything harder. I need to do everything more.
The name of my book is Lotsaholic. Right? I did everything a lot. Everything. I'm extreme to a T.
Yeah.
To a T. And I'll tell you, 3 martinis and pop a few Oxycontin or whatever it was at the time works fast. It works fast, talking about a solution.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work well, and it doesn't work right.
Yeah.
And eventually that brought me to my knees.
What was that moment for you that ended up driving you to recovery?
An intervention. I would have taken this thing to death. I would have tried to prove to everybody that I can make everything work at all times. But luckily enough, I had a loving family that was able to see some of the consequences that were happening in my life way clearer than I was. And it wasn't like death or, it wasn't, but they were seeing what was happening to me, specifically mentally and spiritually, and how dissatisfied I was, and how unhappy I was, and how resentful I was, and how irritable I was. And that's not me. And they stepped in right at the right time. And honestly, if they stepped in one day before, I would have been like, I'm out of here. But God provides, bro. And it was the right time at the right place, and I could hear them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how that just sometimes happens, right? Where we're literally so against hearing something, and then it's like that divine intervention, that one moment when you are actually the most open to hearing that message, all of a sudden it gets through.
I couldn't plan this if I tried, man.
Yeah.
I really couldn't plan this if I tried. From my recovery to what's happened in my life, to the Hero Project, to everything that's happened. I live a very rich, fulfilled life. Very fulfilled.
Yeah.
I have so much love and friends and family and support around me. It doesn't mean I don't go through my ups and downs emotionally, but I dance with it. But I couldn't plan this if I tried.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love the fact that there's that acknowledgement of, it sounds like you've really bought into the idea of controlling what you can control, but accepting the fact that there are things in a life that sometimes you just get lucky, that God has intervened for you or whatever, and you just, you feel blessed to have had it and know that it wasn't necessarily all on you.
Yeah, I really surrendered to, I'm in the effort business.
Yeah.
And God's in the outcome business.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to look at this. God is in the outcome business. So, guys, we're going to be wrapping up for today. If you're enjoying our interview with Adam Jablin, make sure that you are following the podcast. It is 100% free. Adam's going to be here with us all week long. And tomorrow we're going to be diving into the fear of change. So you definitely do not want to miss that. But until then, I remind you, as always, guys, that while none of us are born unshakable, we can all become unshakable